It's getting crazy out there.
Getting crazy out there. It's getting twisted.
All I have are negative takes.
Yeah, if it wasn't obvious before it should be if you read the episode title. We're talking Joker. We're going to talk Joker because we saw it. And you know what? We're now putting blood on our lips and we're going out and we're going to like change the world, man. Twisted. I don't know why it's
Twisted.
dumb. It's
I'm twisted.
funny.
Go sicko mode on you.
Joker is a 2019 film starring Joaquin Phoenix and Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz. I do.
Directed by Todd Phillips, who apparently can't do comedy anymore.
Yeah.
I can somewhat believe him. Although Joker was a pretty funny movie.
Yeah. That was though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has some really funny moments.
Yeah. The jokes did land. I'll say that. The jokes in Joker landed.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess we should talk about like how we saw it first. Our theater was a little not crowded. We had one of those nice ones with a reclining chair.
That's right.
The seats might have been heated, but I didn't touch the buttons. It was a very comfy experience. I bit off a whole bunch of edibles, but then they ended up kicking in way too late, so I didn't get to enjoy that. But it was still a fun night.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we didn't get searched, and you brought a bag in. They said they were going to be searching bags, and did they search your bag?
Hell no.
Yeah.
I brought in some goddamn fast food with me.
Yeah.
In the theater. Snuck it in my bag.
Freaking snuck in like some illegal unlicensed sandwiches.
Oh yeah. Got my chimkin sandwich and my tater tots. My potato tots.
But yeah,
At Sonic.
There was a security guard, but yeah, he didn't check our bags. He had a gun, and then he just walked around.
Yeah. Just looking intimidating. Doesn't do much though.
After the movie, I lost my keys. We had to come back because I was starting to get a little too high, and they slipped out of my pocket.
We got him though. It all worked out.
We got him. It all worked out. We got shitty taquitos at a gas station.
Yeah. Well, that's
taquitos
about all of our
always.
time now, and have a good.
That's about it. Yeah, that's how the movie ends. It ends with shitty taquitos. But man, people were freaking out about this movie, right?
Oh my god!
That's why the security guard was there, but they still didn't check your bags.
No, it was interesting to me because like on my little Twitter trending thing, you know how they amalgamate like a bunch of different tweets and news headlines or whatever. They're just a whole bunch of reports on I don't know, like cops showing up at theaters and doing bag check, like you're just saying, like doing bag checks and shit. And there's like all these security concerns. You know, some theaters are like banning like wearing costumes to the theater because that one dude who shot up the theater in Aurora, I don't know his fucking name, but he dyed his hair or something. And was it Dark Knight Rises?
I think he just had that hair. I don't think he even did that for the. He didn't do that for the thing. He just had.
That was another fucking media thing.
His
too.
just
They're
hair
like,
is.
he tried to just like the Joker and shoot up the theater. Like, no, he didn't. He just dyed his fucking hair.
And he didn't even dye his hair for that. That's just his hair. Like,
Yeah,
he has dyed hair. He had dyed like
that.
orange hair. No,
right.
and he went there because it was crowded. It was opening night.
Yeah, for Dark Knight Rises.
And
right, yeah.
I remember when I was in a big theater for Dark. I was at one of those midnight drops where they played all three movies.
Dang.
And then they played, Dark Knight Rises at midnight.
Oh yeah.
That was fun on
That seems
IMAX,
like it.
on cheater IMAX, not the real IMAX.
Fake ass IMAX.
Yeah, if y'all didn't know that,
projector.
if you ever go to like an AMC thing or like something where they build an IMAX into a movie theater, it's fake ass IMAX.
So we saw Joker.
What did you think?
I thought technically like the craft of the movie was really well done. I thought the acting was great, pacing was pretty good. That the music was pretty stupid. Not the licensed music that they put into it. Like all that stuff was great, perfectly picked out.
Pretty good.
The original score, I guess, was just I could tell that like I don't know, in post production we use what we call like temporary music, which is just to like, oh, we don't have the score from the composer right now, so we'll just find something that sounds like we want to do.
I'm gonna blow your mind.
Uh-oh.
They actually had the score of the dance when he does the dance in the restroom.
Oh no, that's different then.
Yeah,
Damn.
they actually had that, so he's dancing to that score.
Ah, okay. Well,
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
that they had
That is pretty
that, and he was already like, he was just feeling himself.
Yeah, which I liked. That's one thing I really enjoyed about it was there's not a whole lot of mainstream movies that just let the actor just be themselves in the frame. I guess just like enter their character and just move about the frame and just let it happen on screen. Just let the character develop on there. See their body move, their facial expression, all this stuff, and just let it soak in, like what they're doing, their internal psychology and stuff. So I really appreciated that because it's very often that like people have a tendency to like want to just cut out of that moment and then show something else and then to like reinforce that shot with another one. Where if you have the performance right, you can just let it breathe and just let it go. And I really appreciated that. But the original score, I guess, aside from like the dancing one, it sounded to me like they just used the There Will Be Blood soundtrack, and like at the last minute had to like, oh yeah, that's right, we can't use the Johnny Mnemonic, I don't know his name,
Johnny Greenwood.
Johnny Greenwood, thank you. That they use it, they use Johnny Greenwood's score from There Will Be Blood like it's temp music, and then at the last minute it was like, fuck it, we'll find some strings that sound discordant, kind of. But I guess not the dance music, or maybe he was inspired by it or something. But I don't know. I thought the original score was a little just. I've heard it a lot before.
It's a little forgettable.
And I was just kind of annoyed because like you could have done a little more something with that. Could have done a little more. But anyways, that's just the technical stuff. Overall, though, like at this point in my life, I should not be surprised, but I was a little upset, I guess. I don't know about upset. There's a lot of hype surrounding this movie about it being like this dangerous thing and and I was kind of like didn't know what to expect really, and then when I got done with it, I was like, oh, okay, it's a movie about quote unquote the system made by the system. Like that's pretty much about it. Like it touches on class antagonisms. I think a lot of people, like a lot of leftists online, really want to like claim it as their own because like a masterpiece and all this stuff. And I'm just like, it's a good movie, but it's not a masterpiece. It's not especially great. And the way, in my mind, the way that they framed like the class struggle and all this stuff, the one thing you absolutely have to take into account is that this film didn't come out in a vacuum. We all know who the Joker is as a character. It's a cultural signifier. It signifies chaos. He's the antithesis to Batman. Batman may be an anti-hero sometimes. Just like a kitty who jumps up on a lap.
He's making biscuits on my chest right now.
My roommate's cat is being cute. Anyways, though. But, so we all know what the Joker represents, how he's been portrayed. We all know he's not somebody who you especially want to emulate. As many times as people want to be like, oh, the edgy thing, but like the Dark Knight was like, sometimes the Joker said things that kind of made sense, But maybe I'm just twisted. So I agree. Anyways, though, so all this said, the film spends a lot of time, rightly so, demonizing rich people, which is good, but then also turning around and because the protagonist is the Joker, and because like you see this class antagonism about like these, there's a whole running theme throughout the film about like how like the city's being let down, specifically through the main character Arthur Fleck loses like the city cuts funding for mental health services. You see the space in which he occupies, these rundown subways, these dilapidated buildings, the setting like it's supposed to show that he lives in squalor and shit.
It's post White Flight New York.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. Like completely indicative. Like, yeah, what was that? Like late 70s New York, or early 70s?
Well, this movie takes place in 1981.
Okay.
So the
Oh, that's
70s.
right.
So the 70s of the damage of the 70s is come and gone.
Yeah.
And I guess new money is starting to happen. American Psycho.
wanes.
Taxi Driver is long gone. That's decades. That's a decade past, and now we're getting into American Psycho.
That's right. So through all that, we pretty much experienced most of this like degradation through like Arthur Fleck's point of view.
A big plot point is literally austerity affecting his life. He can't get his meds anymore because they cut they literally cut social programs.
Yeah. And again, like all this is great. Like I'm sorry, like the portrayal of all this is great because it shows the film presents it not as like those aspects, it presents it as objectively bad. Like you can see how the people who are providing the services are disappointed, and they understand that like their class interest is not being represented to some degree. Like they understand that they're like ants in the whole grand scheme of things to be crushed by the rich.
Is it just me, or is it getting crazier out there? I mean, the psychiatrist literally says they're tough times. People looking for work all the time.
Yeah. There's a couple of times that they had to be on the nose about saying this stuff. Anyways, all this to say, all that stuff is great, but they also spend a significant amount of time building all this up. And again, we understand that the Joker's not somebody to exactly empathize with, so it spends a good portion of the film, I feel, trying to make you question whether or not you should be rooting for the Joker or not. And that's the thing is like, if this movie wasn't about the Joker, I think then it would have been a little bit more of a like quote unquote dangerous film for like the fucking establishment and everything else. Because then like you wouldn't have this like icon of just like objectively, I don't know, evil, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Joker signifies a bad guy almost always, like he's the like chaotic agent or something. And sometimes like it gets to the point where like we have such an endearment for this chaos that like sometimes it's just like, oh, he's like, yeah, he's bad, but we love him. At the same time though, I think the film goes out of its way because it's about the Joker to just have this pessimistic liberalism where yes, the rich people are bad, but so is the effect of what the rich do, which is the response of the people who are aggrieved by the rich. Their response is also bad. And I think the film spends a good portion of its runtime trying to make that case because it's inherently about the Joker being the champion of that. And like, even though his own character doesn't like, take part in the politics and shit like that, he's still like framed as like the catalyst and everything else, like the progenitor of this idea. Cause he, I guess we'll spoil it a little bit, but like in the whole catalyst of like his arc and stuff was like he murders 3 employees of the Wayne Industries or whatever. And the city kind of takes off. I'm assuming that part may have even been in his head, but regardless of whatever the ending says, if it's ambiguous or not, the film spends most of its runtime trying to make this case. And that's the thing for me is just like, it eventually ends up being this like kind of, I don't know, just mealy mouth pessimism. We're just like, what are you going to do? The rich make it bad, and then people respond with violence. It's bad all around, shrug.
So I've been sitting with the movie for a lot, and I remember we kind of talked about it after we watched it where, yeah, it was sort of what I expected and what it was going to show and probably what people were going to take from it is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That both sides are dangerous. But the only way that I could see it being structured in a way that I thought was good is that it is about, I see the movie, or I would like to see the movie as a warning. Now, at first, I thought the warning was against the bourgeois, saying that if you don't do the right thing, this is what's going to happen. But at the same, at the same time, it could also be that this is a case. This is a film whose underlying statement is socialism or barbarism. The problem with that is it doesn't necessarily present socialism as an alternative, but it does go to show that this is a class unconscious cataclysm of violence, a pent-up rage that has been pushed by austerity, pushed the city to the brink, to the point where an insane man who's defending himself ends up killing some the poster boys of the enemy of the city, which is the upper class, which is Thomas Wayne, because they both work. They all work for Wayne Enterprises.
That's right. Yeah.
And during that, they physically attack him while they're on the subway.
Yeah.
And he ends up shooting them. The Arthur, becomes a Joker.
Yeah.
Come on, hey,
Mr. Kitty.
Mr. Kitty, you're putting holes in my shirt.
No, Mr. Kitty. This cat's twisted.
He's twisted.
Everything is twisted.
Everything. The world is twisted. So I see the movie as being. I mean, it is about an unconscious populace just throwing their fists at who they immediately see is the cause of the problem, which is the rich person running for mayor, who dismisses people as clowns.
Yeah. That's right.
So I guess we should get into the actual movie.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I guess I'm maybe a little more optimistic about it. Just that it's at least just a warning to stupid rich people that, hey, it may not be class conscious, but they're still gonna come after you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like we said earlier, it takes place in 1981.
That's right.
We open on Arthur Fleck, who's what does he work as? It's like clown rental, right? Like birthday clown rental, but they do like anything.
Yeah, I'm assuming yeah, like you call this company, we need a clown to do something, and they just send out the clown.
He's his clown agent.
Yeah. That was my understanding. I don't know. Like I used to do balloon animals, and instead of like wearing clown makeup and shit, like you just it was it was an absolute pyramid scheme, and I'm assuming like that clown business or whatever the fuck probably was that as well. Like
were you like basically selling cologne out of your backpack?
What?
That's another scheme. They'll get people to like buy cheap cologne so that they can sell it at full price.
No, what I know this is a digression, but this goes into like what I think was the business model was like for that fucker who ended up firing Arthur Fleck in the film. I'm sorry to skip ahead, but still, essentially, some fucking dipshit pig lives in Florida, and I forget his name. Actually, no, I remember his name. I'm not gonna say it. Maybe
Pig shit McWolf.
There we go. Pig shit McWolf's McWolf. He lives in Florida. He says, "You're a high schooler. You want to get some extra work? Okay, cool. Here's some training materials." The training material is a DVD ROM of how to twist balloon animals.
A DVD ROM?
Yeah.
So you have to put in a computer?
I believe so. Wait, no. No, it was just a random burned DVD.
Oh, okay, cool. Like a verbatim DVD R.
Yeah.
With a white.
Exactly. Yeah. It was
a white label and not labeled, or
Yes.
it's just like written in Sharpie. Yep. Instructions.
Yep. No, that's
and it's
literally
misspelled.
That's literally it. So he'd send out the disc. He'd do he'd call you up.
Skinny jewel case.
That's exactly in that. All of that. And you go to some shitty designed website, balloonanimalbullshit.com, and you go find a schedule, and you pick a restaurant, you get trained by somebody who's already there.
Balloonanimal.angelfire.com.
There we go, yeah.
You actually get trained by somebody.
Because this is why it's like a pyramid scheme, is you get hired, And when you get other people to be hired onto the company as well, you get a cut of like you basically get paid for people that you hired to go out and make balloon animals, and you only get paid in tips if you're a balloon animal twister yourself. And so
Wait, so he wanted you to hire other balloon twisters?
yes, eventually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just keep hiring them, and they keep going. But here's the kicker: so you go this. I guess this was like the initial seed for how I understood that capitalism is such fucking bullshit. Was like you go out there, you twist in your own balloons, make your own tips. In the meantime, the owner of the company of the restaurant that you're going out to twist the balloon animals for does not pay you directly. He pays the balloon face McDipshit like like $200 to have you come out there, even though Balloon Face McDipshit has done literally nothing besides just mail you a fucking DVD that somebody else fucking made, by the way. He was the one that twisted the balloons and like filmed everything for it. Somebody else did all that. All he did was like set up a fucking website and just call restaurants.
Well, yeah, eventually somebody he hired eventually hired somebody else to hire somebody else, and eventually they had a crew together and they could make a video.
That's right. Actually, did I tell you that? I'm sorry. We're getting way far away, but eventually I have to go into the saga because years later, after I was done with this shit, I got an email from somebody saying like, balloonedanimalsdipshit.com is getting on our turf, animalballoondipshit.net. They literally said, we're going to steamroll you out of this business if you get in our way. That was in an email. It's insane. It's a fucking racket, though. So I have to imagine.
Why are you still on the Balloon Twisters newsletter?
They emailed me. I wasn't on their newsletter. They just had my email, and they're like, "We're contacting all the former employers. We don't know if who's there or who's not." Da, 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 da. It was a rival balloon.
You're messing
animal
in our territory.
Yes, they made it sound like a mob turf.
So the people you are after, the people you are competing against, are the people you need. We twist your balloons while you sleep. Do not fuck with us.
We'll twist your fucking neck. Surprised I didn't say that. That's good. Anyways, but just imagine a rival clown company just out of the blue mailing a threatening letter to Arthur Fleck's clown company.
That would be the story. There would be another. The other clown company would be like would be for women, and that would be where Harley Quinn. A Joker and Harley Quinn would get together and take down the whole rotten system.
That's the sequel. Fuck, man. Todd Phillips, if you ever listen.
Todd Phillips, if you ever listen, maybe you're just bad at comedy.
I'm so sorry we keep digressing, but I was gonna say
don't ever say that.
Okay, because yeah, man.
Because it's not gonna. Because remember, we can edit everything.
Anyways, so I work for this shitty balloon company, and essentially, it looks like Arthur's job is that where they go out, do all the work, and then some fucking dipshit just sits in a fucking office and just makes calls and sends people out, and that's it.
Yeah, he's the middleman.
He's the middle. He collects all the fucking money.
He's an unnecessary middleman.
Yeah.
If that job is necessary, then a person can do that job.
Yeah.
So yeah, God, we're still just in the first shot. Yeah. He works at a clown company. He works at a clown agency. He's putting his makeup on, not having a good time. We're also getting some exposition about the state of the city. Apparently, the garbage strike is going on.
That's right. Yeah.
That's happened in New York before, but of course, this is Gotham City because it's a Joker movie. Joker. This wasn't something that I meant to say this in my original thing about my main problem with it.
Yeah.
The worst thing about this movie is that it's about Joker.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that as we go through the plot.
I think I was saying that in way more words.
Yeah, because it's like this movie could have been this movie. That is the thing about this movie. It could have been about anything. There's nothing really. I think because they specifically aim to not make it about Batman.
Yeah.
So there's very few instances of Batman.
Yeah.
Batman doesn't appear, but Bruce Wayne appears.
Yeah.
So he's putting his makeup on, and we're hearing that the city is very hot in more ways than one because it's the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
And Arthur's just trying to smile, but he can't do it, and he sticks his fingers in his mouth to try and force himself to smile, and he has a little teardrop.
Just a little tear.
His clown makeup's running.
It's beautiful.
It really is.
Yeah, it's
like
pretty good
it's a
moment,
great
actually.
it's a great opening performance. The first thing you see
Really
of
grabs
Joaquin Phoenix, and it really does. It's compelling, and he's very good.
Yeah.
It really sets the scene, sets the stage for how good his performance is.
And I will say real quick, that one opening moment has more, and maybe this was covered by some other podcast, I'm just ripping them off, but still has more like artistic imagery. And by that I mean like has different levels of meaning within that frame. That one goddamn shot has more depth to it than all Marvel or other DC movies fucking combined, especially Marvel. I haven't watched that many DC ones, but because these movies don't use visual metaphors, they don't do any of that shit. It's just medium shots, close-ups, big explosions. And that's
It's
about it.
definitely true that this movie felt crafted.
Yeah, very intentional. Everything is very, which
It at least felt intentional and not like they decided where the camera was going rather than just covering the scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't have like awkward 3 shots of Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange, and they each have their close-ups so that we can cover their dialogue.
Yeah.
Boring fucking shit. Mm. The camera goes, it moves, it does weird things. It shows you a lot of weird stuff. Like it shows you this long moment where he's trying to make himself smile. You see this this tortured soul. Mm. So yeah, then we go to basically what is Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
New York in the 80s, Gotham City, and he's working at Arthur's gig right now is he's twirling a sign for a store that's going out of business.
Yeah.
And everything must go sign, and it gets stolen by a bunch of hoodlums, bunch of street kids, and they chase him and they eventually hit him and beat him up for the sign.
Yeah.
And that's how we begin. That's how we meet Arthur Fleck, a man who is literally beaten down on the street in the hard streets of Gotham City.
Mm. Poor guy.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
It was around this time when I was watching the movie that I was like, this doesn't feel special. And by special, I mean because of the prestige it's gotten, specifically winning the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival.
Yeah. Which,
you know, prestigious movies win that, and it just didn't. I don't know. It just that doesn't feel like that right now. It's good, but it's good for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true.
It was around, and it was because of the big title. When the big title comes up on the screen over him, huddled in a puddle of pain.
Yeah, announcing like this guy, this fucking pathetic little mess, this little bitch is gonna become the Joker. Big signifier.
So eventually, through scenes, we find out that Arthur actually has a mental illness. Yeah. He is afflicted with with uncontrollable laughter. Guess that would be like Tourette's or something.
I think so.
Yeah, he flies into fits of uncontrollable laughter. And good on Joaquin's performance for able to portray the laughing, which is the physical motion, but also kind of the terror and the sadness he has in his laughing. It comes through in his eyes.
It really does.
Yeah,
that helpless, like I can't stop.
But yeah, so he has that. He's on a lot of medication. He goes to a social worker that we, of course, find out is funded by by state money, and he lives with his mom. So you know what that means.
Yeah.
He's a loser. He's an incel loser. So he lives with his mom. He's on a lot of meds. She's not quite all there.
Yeah. That's
And
very
he knows it. It's very much presented the way he. It's very much presented from the very get go that he knows that she's not all there. He is her caretaker. He's taking care of her, and at this point, was he feeding her? I think he was feeding her, and their favorite show comes on, which is Rupert Pupkin's Tonight Show or whatever.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called. His name is Murray, right?
Yeah, something Murray.
Robert De Niro, played by Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Late night talk show host. He's got a big band. He does his opening monologue, and it's here where we first see how Arthur breaks from reality, because all of a sudden he's in the show and he's getting accepted by a surrogate father figure in Bob De Niro. The little man just wants to be recognized as a person. That's all he wants.
He wants his dad.
He wants his dad to tell him it's good. See, that's what this movie's about. It's about fatherless children.
It's Robert De Niro puts his arm around him. He's like, this young man has been left behind. If you follow my show, I have these 12 rules.
I never had a son, but if I did have one, I would want him to be just like you. You must not succumb to the dragon of chaos.
You must not be twisted. I'm sorry. I can't stop. It's such a dumb fucking... Anyway, so...
Jordan fucking Peterson.
Yeah.
Stupid Canadian Kermit. So while he was at work, his coworkers like kind of openly make fun of him. You kind of get the beat that people are making fun of him, and that even if people don't want to make fun of him, they're sort of like just joining in or not letting it. Not being helpful, not standing up, not defending him, not being on his side. Yeah. And what's his name? I forget his name. The man in the king in yellow, the Yellow King.
Guy from True Detective.
Yeah, True Detective. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he gives him a gun. He's just like, it's like you're right as an American. You should have a gun because you're on meds and this is America. I think even Joaquin says he's not allowed to have a gun.
He does. Yeah, he does say
and he
that.
says, you could just pay me back. He's like the devil. So now Joaquin has a gun. There was that scene where he like dances. You remember that? Or he dances and then he shoots the wall.
Oh my god, yeah.
There's another one of those comedy scenes. Like you keep expecting something. You know the gun's gonna go off, but you keep expecting like it's gonna be some like weird accident, like he accidentally kills himself.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It plays with your not with your expectation, but just with like that preconceived image in your head. And then it just goes off, and then he has to explain to his mom that he was watching a war movie.
That's right.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
He gets another gig. He has another gig. Oh, no. So after he gets a gun, he has that meeting with his boss where his boss just totally is like, that sign's got to come out of your paycheck. The one that those kids beat you up with and broke. You got to replace it. Otherwise, I might have to dip into your pay. Stick my greasy hands into your pie. So yeah, his boss the dick. His job is putting the screw on him, and another great performance by him of just his slowly maddening smile.
Yeah.
As his boss's rant just goes, echoes into the background.
Yeah. The sound cuts out and everything.
Fucking jobs suck, man.
Yes.
They suck ass.
It is interesting. I don't remember seeing the boss's face that much.
I know. Yeah, I know who he was. I know who he was. You know who you reminded me of?
Who's that?
Bagel boss. Bagel guy.
You're not my. You're not my boss or my father. What does he say?
Yeah, you're not God or my father or my boss. You're not my boss. I'm the boss.
I'm the boss. His accent's just.
You're gonna be a clown. You're gonna work hard. People are bored and not having fun. They want to have fun and be entertained.
That's Bobcat Goldthwait, right? Does that character?
No.
Oh
No, that's David Herman. That's Michael Bolton.
That's right.
In Office Space.
Yeah, that's right. I forget he does that. Sorry, doing a deep King of the Hill reference.
I love that.
Jimmy.
People's lives are dry and dull. They want something wet and fun.
I'm the boss.
I'm the boss.
Taking the side out of your pay, Arthur.
Okay, that's one sign. That's $88, and you still owe me for the clown makeup that you're renting from me, and that hat, that wig. That's the fucking word that I couldn't remember. And so you owe me a grand total of $88,888.88. Anyways, so yeah, Arthur's getting screwed.
Yeah.
He's getting the screw put on, and all he has are negative thoughts, which is what he tells his therapist.
That's right.
His therapist. Meanwhile, Thomas Wayne is about to Thomas Wayne, the famous billionaire, who just wants people to work hard and take responsibility. The fucking clowns,
the slobs.
So Thomas Wayne, who we also know that that Arthur Fleck's mother was. Keeps writing letters to because they apparently used to work for Thomas Wayne. She's like, oh, if he wouldn't stand for this. If he saw the way we were living, he's a good man and he has to care about me. And it's like, Mom, you worked for him for 30 years ago. He's not going to remember you. And so she's writing a lot of letters to Thomas Wayne, and she's an early supporter. She's like, he should run for mayor, and he does. He runs for mayor on an anti-clown, on an
anti-clown agenda,
on an anti-lazy clown agenda. You know, he said something like 58% of people are just clowns that don't want to work. Just a reminder. Mitt Romney is an Antifa terrorist.
Mitt Romney running around with red and black flag, just being like, eat the rich. Eat me.
So Arthur still has his job that's still putting the screw on him, and now he's performing at a children's hospital. That's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then his gun fucking pops out in the middle of the show. Last I checked, I don't think you could take a gun into a hospital.
Well,
a children's hospital too.
At least,
you can take a bomb in
they
there.
Know.
Yeah. You know what hospitals don't know won't hurt them.
Right, he just drops it, right? He doesn't go off or nothing.
No, yeah, he just drops it, slips out, and he plays it off. He's totally cool about it.
Yeah.
But it's, of course, bad, and he gets fired. And he breaks that poor phone booth.
That's right.
With his head.
The real victim of the film was the phone booth.
Yeah, public property, baby.
Didn't ask for that.
So, down on his luck, completely into dumps, he's then presented with a decision. Is he going to succumb to the madness? One subway ride. Shows probably. He has to take some subway ride with the worst thing you could ever meet in the middle of the night on an empty subway. White, 80s, American Psycho style cunts. That's what they look like, right?
Yeah.
They're wearing the same suits. The guy's got the hairdo. They're just acting like fucking rowdy frat boys.
Yeah.
They're accosting this woman who eventually gets more freaked out at Arthur, who eventually breaks out into another one of his uncontrollable laughing fits.
That's right. And also, he doesn't have his card to hand to them, right? Because he gave it to the. He didn't get it back from the lady on the bus. That was like towards the beginning of the film.
I don't remember if that's a thing. I think he just couldn't reach for it
Oh, okay.
because they were messing with him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think he tries to reach for it, but then they just are already like around him, taking his thing off. And yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember about the card, but he did have a card explaining his condition that he could show people, but he can't show it to these guys. And this guy starts singing "Send in the Clowns," which doesn't actually have anything to do with clowns.
For the record.
For the record, I didn't know that because I thought it was just the Krusty the Clown version. I thought he was singing the actual song, and it was just a song about. It was a sad song about clowns.
Yeah.
Because we want clowns. Because we need laughter in our lives. We need laughter.
Ha ha.
Ha! Twisted.
That's why he's in the clown.
Them messing with him brews into violence, and he retaliates with the weapon he has. He has that gun.
Yeah.
And he ends up killing all of them. That was the time when he started feeling himself. Because after that, he runs and he gets into that bathroom, and that's when he has that dance, the little dance number. Is this me? Am I twisted? And it turns out that he's tapping into something that a lot of the city is feeling.
Yeah.
Spontaneous protests are starting to. He's a bit of a folk hero. Yeah, people are starting to wear clown masks and makeup because he expressed some kind of righteous rage that the city was feeling, aimed at these, shall we say, symbols of the system.
Yeah.
And yeah, that I think influences Thomas Wayne's mayoral candidacy.
Yeah.
That's why he enters the race.
That's right, yeah.
And did we also mention that Arthur is a aspiring stand-up comedian?
Not yet, no.
He is. He wants to be funny. He believes he was put on this earth to make people smile and be happy. I believe after he murders somebody, after he murders these guys. I shouldn't say murder. After he defends himself.
Yeah, because
using his Second Amendment right.
Yeah. It's kind of true.
Austerity forces the closure of his therapist.
Yeah, that's right.
He can't get his meds anymore.
Oh, and she tells him outright. What is? Did she say the city doesn't care about people like you and me?
They don't care. They don't care. They don't give a shit about us.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about you.
That's right.
Fuck you.
Fucking clown.
You're a fucking clown. That's all you are to them. See, to them, you're just a clown. Arthur goes and he does comedy. And he really doesn't understand what a joke is. Like, you notice that from his notebook, right? Where he's keeping all his thoughts, his weird cutouts of naked ladies. Yeah, like he's writing stuff like, make joke about sex. People think that funny.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah. Oh, he's writing down observations from other comedians. Or he's watching another comedian, like make joke about sex. Is that funny? Yeah.
And he's laughing at the wrong parts.
Yeah, that was the... I gotta say, I really like that. Comedian makes like they're in a small club or whatever, and he makes a punchline, and then he like goes into the next bit, and then like as he's setting it up, that's when Arthur does his little like. I thought they would acknowledge that at some point, like he'd be quiet and be like, and then I looked at her and kind of quiet, and you hear no chuckles or anything like that, and all of a sudden you just hear Arthur from the back of the room.
Yeah. I was expecting that to happen.
Though,
I was expecting that to happen, and it sort of did happen. At least that he laughs at the wrong time.
It's true.
He doesn't get it. He doesn't. That's to him. He doesn't understand kind of social interactions.
You know what? Is he genuinely laughing at the? I mean, not genuine. I mean, like, is he laughing because he thinks something's funny, or is that the take that's happening when he's at the club?
No.
Like he is like laughing the wrong.
He's
spot
laughing at the
'cause
wrong time because he
Okay.
doesn't know when to laugh.
I gotcha. Okay, yeah.
And it's clear from what he's writing down in his journal.
I gotcha. Okay, yeah.
And clear from the joke that he tells later in the movie, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Um,
Eventually.
but yeah, he has and then he gets up there. That's when one of his laughing fits comes out, and he just has a bad show.
Yeah.
He bombs. He dies. He's killed, but you don't know that because it just turns into this swell of music as he enjoys himself on stage.
Yeah.
So we're.
Oh, should we be mentioning Zazzy Beats? Is it Zazzy or Yazzie?
Zazzy.
Zazzy.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, they meet in the hallway before this, and he invites her to his stand-up show.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, they meet in the elevator, and she has this weird like gallows humor like moment where she like acts like she wants to kill herself because she hates her daughter.
Yeah. Which is a weird, like, I'm wondering if she actually made that joke to him or not.
Yeah, who knows if that even really happens? You know,
I'm sure the guy
considering how the story unfolds.
Yeah, because she, I forget when they first meet, but it's well before the subway thing.
No,
or not well before, but it's before the subway
Yes.
incident. And then, because after he kills the guys, he goes does the dance thing, feels himself, and then he goes home, and it felt so surreal. And I was like, he's got to be hallucinating this shit.
Oh yeah, they do the punch drunk love scene where he just goes right into her door and just commits sexual assault.
Basically, I think he's still covered in blood too.
Yeah,
Right?
I thought that was a little weird too.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, I guess it's going this way.
Yeah. It's surreal. Sorry, I didn't mean to cite because he did after he's like telling his joke, I guess, and he thinks he's not bombing. That swell of music, and then he's like on a date with Zazzy Beats, right? And that's when they go look at the newspaper next.
They look at the newspaper, and that's when we see like the clown stuff is spreading.
Okay,
Because she's like, yeah, fuck them.
that's right.
Fuck those Patrick Batemans.
Which I thought was it. We find out later that moment didn't happen, but I think it's pretty interesting that like.
Also, sorry, one of them looked like Eric Trump, right?
Ooh.
The blonde one?
Yeah.
In the suit.
Oh damn.
Like a more attractive Eric Trump.
Yeah, I could see the slick back hair and all that. Kind
Pretty actor face Eric Trump.
Yeah. I think that was one of those moments where like, because you don't exactly know that it's like that this is a fantasy. You might get a hint because like the hallway thing already happened, but where he kissed her. But like in this moment, like it's presented as just normal that like she's representing this idea that's like, nah, fuck them. Like, rich assholes, I'm glad they're dead. I spit on their faces. Like I spit
You
on their
did the
graves.
right thing, Arthur, in murdering them.
Yeah, exactly. Like like, that's why I think it's just kind of interesting that it's doing that. And at that point in the film, like it's not presented as like, it's really trying to goad you into like, yeah, no, that's a good thing though. That's good that he could fucking kill them. Fuck these people.
And it's solidified
Just
later
fucking
when
mad.
Thomas Wayne announces that he's going to run for mayor because he talks about how those boys were like go-getters and on their way to the top. And like, you know what I mean? Just having nothing but praise for them. And
That's
it's,
right. When we saw
like,
what they're fucking like on the subway.
we saw what they're like, but also we've heard the attitude of supposedly the people, and we see how they're reacting to it.
Yeah.
So it really shows like how he is also the enemy too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll bring this up later when we get to that scene. More about Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
I think after this was when he goes to his house.
Thomas Wayne's house.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't remember.
Okay, so this thing is written out of order. Arthur's or maybe it wasn't written out of order. Something happens with the cops, right? What are they looking for? They're looking into the murder, and they go to the clown agency and get his number, and they talk to his mom, and she goes into a fit and has to go to the hospital.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's at the hospital when she's out that he sees Murray Franklin like viral video his comedy set.
Yeah, that's right. Which I was like, that was one thing I was a little confused by. I don't think I'm supposed to be questioning this, but I was questioning, like, do comedy clubs have cameras just randomly rolling and you don't know that you're being recorded? Or was that ever a thing? I was questioning it in the film because I was like, what the fuck? Like, who puts a fucking camera and doesn't let you know your performance is being recorded? That's theft. They stole his show. He didn't agree to that. Especially
I don't
like
know
an
how.
open
I don't.
mic.
It is Gotham City.
Yeah.
I also don't know how common that would have been in the 80s.
Yeah, it's true. I'll be honest. I just found myself questioning it, like, because that's kind of what clued me into, like, there's portions of this film where this guy's absolutely, like, we already saw that scene where
We've
he
already seen him
hallucinated.
break from reality.
Yeah, and at that point, I was just a little bit more like, that seems super fake to me. I think that's in his fucking head. Like that. I've never heard of this or seen anything indicated of that. Or
Well, like
recording in a
comedy
club.
clubs do record open micers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sometimes, well, I know now sometimes they sell it.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know if they had a similar setup then. I guess in the 80s you could have had a VHS camera.
Yeah,
And it's
it
just
looked like
and
it too.
VHS and VHS is a smaller investment, blank VHS.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah. Sorry, this is just one thing that was bugging me. It was like,
yeah. So they make fun of him on his talk show host, where basically his dad makes fun of him. His dad's very disappointed in his comedy, and that makes Arthur go a little twisted. Gets him a little twisted. Sometime after this, I kind of forget some of the finer details and some of the scenes, but finally Arthur reads one of these letters that his mom is sending to Thomas Wayne.
yeah.
She confesses that Arthur is in fact Thomas Wayne's illegitimate son.
Okay, yeah. Then he's about to go to the. Yeah, he gets a big argument with his mom, and she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, and she explains it, and I think that's where he ends up at Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
Chatting with Bruce Wayne. I forgot who brought this up, but that is a really good scene showing him trying to have a connection with somebody that he sees as his equal. And of course, that is just shattered by fucking Alfred, who's a fucking jerk in this. Which I guess he would always be a jerk.
Is that supposed to be Alfred?
That's Alfred.
Oh my God, Alfred is cool. Nah, he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I did not recognize him because I was like, the Alfred I know is always this like
Michael
empathetic
Caine.
old man. Yeah, always this empathetic old man, you know. Excuse me, sir.
I was
Master
like-
Wayne, ignore this nutter.
Shall I prepare, master, a special sandwich? A little bat sandwich. You know how I can cut the crust off and make it look like a bat. I do that for you, Brucey. But yeah, Arthur in this is such a fucking dick and such like a
Oh, you mean Alfred?
Alfred.
Oh, okay.
Different A name.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Arthur's a bit of a dick too.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I
he
was
has
gonna
different
say.
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alfred is such a dick, and splitting up. Like this is a part where because Arthur like tries to entertain young Bruce through the fence.
Yeah.
He does little magic tricks. He does the little bit where you do the thing with the wand, and then the wand like bends, and then it turns into flowers. But he eventually just like, I guess this is like an assault of a minor where he just like sticks his fingers
grabs
into
him.
Bruce Wayne's mouth.
Yeah.
And he does the smile. He makes him smile like
in the beginning.
like in the beginning of the movie, and that's when Alfred breaks up this. He's like, "Man, I don't care if it's called ephebophilia. You need to get out of here." I don't know if I said that right.
I agree.
So
Don't step on Snack.
Arthur then gets the bug in his head that his mother, Penny, is actually lying about the whole thing. Or just crazy. Twisted by Thomas Wayne. And the film really plays with whether or not that's actually true. He eventually has to go to Arkham State Hospital, which is the loony bin.
Yeah.
If you don't know, if you're not up on your Batman canon, on your Batman lore, he has to go see Keeper of the Paper Records, Paperboy.
He gets in there, Paperboy,
Paperboy, all about the records, boy. So he has to go see Alfred Paperboy. I forget what the actor's name is.
Yeah, I forget too.
I thought he was going to have a bigger role. I was hoping he would have a bigger role when I saw him in the trailer.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Which you never know. Maybe they had to rework stuff. Maybe he did have a bigger... I don't know. But eventually, Arthur just steals from Paperboy. He just steals his mom's record and reads it in the stairwell. That's when we find out the truth that he's actually is adopted. Arthur was adopted, and he was abused by his mom's several boyfriends.
That's right.
And she was crazy. She was twisted already.
No.
Which means Arthur's twisted, which means this is another way that the world, the hell world, is putting the screw on Arthur. He didn't have a chance.
Brian Henry, that's the guy.
Who is that?
Brian Henry. Or Brian Tyree? Tyree?
Oh, okay.
He's the guy that plays Paperboy.
I
and the
see.
record.
Yeah, right.
Paper record boy.
Paper record boy.
That's why he goes.
No, yeah, we did skip over that. That happens before he steals the records. That's why he goes to steal the records. Because after he visits his home, that's when he sneaks in and becomes the bellboy. Jerry Lewis is the bellboy. Co-starring Milton Berle. He does that shtick to sneak into a bunch of rich people watching Modern Times.
That's right.
Which is funny because, they probably cause the shit that they're making fun of in that movie.
Yeah. They're the ones who own the
Leeches.
fat. It's so I know they have to do it, but I was just like, this is so on the fucking nose.
I like it.
It's so goofy, dude. Like, why would they be watching a black and white? I thought they'd be watching. That is something I actually really liked, is because like I'm expecting them to be watching like an opera or something, but instead they're watching Modern Times on a theater screen. It's just something really goofy that I really like about this setting. It's very on the nose, but it's just, I don't know, like, it's a great visual that they're watching this, and like you see the reactions of them and the film, and then Arthur looking at, like, watching them watch it. It's like oh, he is watching for Thomas Wayne to leave his seat, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he meets him in the washroom, and he confronts him, and Wayne says that no, she made all that up. She's crazy. She's twisted, and you're twisted too. Don't talk to my fucking son. Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
That's my bad boy, you fucker.
Which that scene, I kind of like. I don't know how I felt about how it ends, because it ends with him punching him and saying, "Stay the fuck away from my son." I was like, I sort of didn't like it, because in that tiny little moment, and since that's the last word, that completely humanizes Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be the end of it, where it was going to be like, okay, so now we know that it actually is a fake. His mom's crazy, and this is all just another way that the world is putting the screw on him.
Yeah.
And that's the way it builds up. But then, like, what we've already talked about has happened, and he finds a photo of his mom with a message written on the back by T. Wayne or Thomas W.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
think it's Tom W.
Yeah.
So it's like, because he is a powerful man,
Yeah.
and he can fabricate that kind of thing. But I think another thread that's running through this movie, and that's when I noticed it, was that example, is that this movie is not about like Joker figuring out what's real. It's not about us figuring out what's real. It's about what he wants to accept as real.
Yeah.
So he decides, even with this evidence, doesn't matter. He's already decided that he was adopted as not his mom. I think this is also after he killed his mom, but I don't remember.
Oh, the picture.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Because he eventually does, because he's still feeling himself, and he eventually just smothers his mom when she's in the hospital
Yeah.
after having a stroke.
Oh yeah. Oh, also, like right before he does that, that's when he finds the records and sees all the newspaper clippings about how he was like chained to a radiator and all that shit.
Wait, it was before that. No, after he finds out about the records, that's when he goes to his girlfriend's house. That's when he goes to Zazie Beetz'
That's
apartment.
right. Yeah.
Because Zazie was visiting with him and his mom when his mom was in the hospital. She got him a coffee because he wanted one. And now he's in her apartment, and he's just like, crying his eyes out and explaining to her what he's feeling, and she's freaked out.
Yeah.
She's like, "Why are you here? You need to leave my apartment."
Oh, she says, "You're in the wrong apartment." I think is what I remember, because she's like trying to like, in her mind she's freaking the fuck out, but she's trying to make it sound like she's giving them the benefit of the doubt.
And because she's talking to someone that she knows is crazy.
Yeah. And she's like,
and that's all. She's just trying to not die.
Yeah. Yeah,
because
exactly.
she brings up like, "My daughter's in the other room. You need to leave."
Yeah.
And that's when it dawns on him. Fake girlfriends, man. You can't trust them.
Yep.
It turns out like it's not even like he's like he's like, "I don't know what to do, Zazie. Sometimes it's like you're not even here." Well, I'm not there. I'm not your fucking girlfriend. And it turns out, it's all in his head. It's all in his head. And there's a really good like callback to the thing where she like shoots herself in the head. With her fingers. Yeah. And then he just does it, and it's just like, oh, great. He's actually just a crazy person.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's right. That's so beautiful. He does it to her, and her face is just like, is she going to kill himself in my apartment? Her face is just utter terror. This fucking crazy guy's just there, like pantomiming killing himself. God.
After that, Joker's starting to really understand himself, and he's starting to feel himself a little more. Yeah. He's starting to get a little more, and that's when he kills his mom.
That's right. Yeah.
And he feels good about it.
Yeah.
He feels good about it.
God, that
right after that,
is brutal.
Things change for the better. Gets a call out of the blue from the booker on the Murray Franklin show.
That's right.
And they're like, "Hey, we loved you. We stole your video, but everyone loved it, so we want to have you on."
You're so fucking weird, dude. You're so weird. And come on the show, weird dude.
That's when he gets a visit from his clown buddies.
That's right.
And he's preparing for the show.
They send
He does that thing where he pretends to be on the show, and he sets up or he has his couches and he sits like he's on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it looks like he's gonna kill himself.
Yeah. Like
that's his joke. He's gonna kill himself on TV.
Oh man, all I could think about was that Daffy Duck bit from Looney Tunes. Like, I got this great trick I could show you. Well, what is it? I'm like, are you sure you want to see it? Because I can only do it once. It's pretty great though. I'm like, yeah. What is it? He like Daffy Duck pulls. I think he pulls out like a bunch of dynamite and blows himself up or something. And then you see his it's like really built up to this, but that's like the client. That's the whole thing that the little bit is building up to, and Daffy Duck's like floating up to heaven, and then he's like, "See, I told you, I can only do it once," and he's just kind of ends after. It's a fucking macabre bit.
Wow, that's pretty dark.
I know. I was kind of expecting some. I was just reminded of that when he's doing like telling the knock knock joke, and he pulls out the gun and just like he dry fires it, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So he's really feeling himself now. And he gets a visit from his clown buddies. And yeah, they're just worried. The guy, it was the guy that gave him the gun and the little guy, little person.
That's right.
And they're just like, "Hey man, we're worried about you. We heard about your mom. We thought you needed cheering up. We bought you like a fifth of whiskey. Here you go. Let's get drunk. Let's get smacked up." Really, they're just worried about what to tell the cops, because they're all worried about what he did or what's gonna happen. And they wanted to clear the air because the cops definitely made it sound like everyone was kind of sicking them at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were just trying to explain, like, we just told them what we told them, and it's this information that ends up being a fatal mistake because he stabs his friend. Not his friend, but he stabs him in the freaking neck.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
scene,
in the neck.
that scene is awkward because it feels like it should cut away, but then it just stays in there while the other guy is just like silently like freaking out, not knowing what to do, because Arthur is like sitting next to the bloodied, stabbed corpse of the guy he came in with, and they're both in the way of the door.
Yeah. I just felt like it just stays in that moment, and all I can think is just like, oh fuck, he's a little person, and he can't, like, there's no fucking way he could defend himself. And I just couldn't help but like,
and he's like, things are making a lot more sense now. I've gone off my meds. Really, things are clearing up for me. I'm going on the Murray Franklin show tonight.
That's right. That's right. He's just telling all this stuff.
So the guy is like, "Man, get out of here. You can get out of here." So then he walks over to the door, and the door is locked, and he can't reach the fucking door. And he's like, "Arthur, could you?" The chain. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah.
Oh. Arthur does a jump scare to him when he's trying to walk past Arthur to get to the door.
That's right.
Like, I'm just fucking with you. Yeah.
And then that's when he immediately like runs for it, but then he can't do it. He's like, I was like, it's really well timed. It's really well edited together. That's one of the jokes that lands. It's really good.
Yeah.
And then before he just messes with him, but he eventually lets him go because he was apparently the only one that was nice to him.
Yep.
So now he's got dyed hair, he's got painted face, and he's really coming into his own. Now we get to hear the freaking basketball song, which was very surprising to me. Hey! 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 And he's just dancing on the stairs to the hey!
Wave your hand. Hi. Hey.
And this is when, in the middle of that, these fucking police detectives, they're like, "Hey, Mr. Clown, we got to step on your music." And he's like, "Ooh, time to flee."
Cheese it.
And he gives chase, and they eventually end up on a subway, crowded, headed for a big clown demonstration. So there's a bunch of clowns on the subway, and it's a real, what's the moment? I guess it's like a do the right thing moment where just something just causes the powder keg to go off. There's the tension because there's a bunch of cops waving the guns and badges around, being like, "Get down! I'm looking for someone. Get down! Get down!" And if it turns into shoving,
off of people,
they eventually shoot somebody.
That's right.
And that's the end. That's it. The mob takes them, and Joker's able to get away.
That's right.
Once again,
praxis.
Well, once again, that's another thing. That's another instance where I feel like this movie is like like I think you called it like class war alarmism.
Yes.
It's a warning to the bourgeois saying like this kind of thing is going to cause a powder keg and it's going to be bad for you.
Yeah, because that's the other thing too, is that Arthur is out of the scene when we're seeing the cops being attacked by this essentially faceless mob. All their faces are obscured by masks and makeup and shit.
He laughs at him.
Yeah, Arthur does.
Yeah. Like when he gets out, he sees them. He sees the mob like attacking them on the platform.
Oh,
And he
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
laughs at him, and then he walks away.
Yeah, but
and
you
the
know
cop,
what I mean?
and then the cops run past him.
Yeah,
in the slow mo, and he smokes so much in this movie. I wouldn't know what that's like.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, sorry, the point I was making was like Arthur's not like in the moment directly witnessing all of this stuff happening like right in front of him. It's like,
I think he is. Like, what are you talking about specifically?
I'm talking about the way that they frame the interaction between the clown Tifa and and the cops is a self-contained thing. Like Arthur isn't like an antagonizing element in any of that. He's witnessing this stuff. Where the cops and Clown Tifa are like interacting, the tensions boil over and all this stuff. And the point I'm trying to make is like the film is making kind of like it's like a third. It's outside of the protagonist's like direct view, and it's trying to show you the viewer this event unfolding. So it's framing this like. Like we were saying a second ago, this bourgeois alarmism by showing this like faceless mob attacking these cops and presenting it in a way as not as like a righteous anger that's like rectifying like a clear-cut murder of somebody because the state was performing violence on a bunch of people who like are circumstances of pushing to the brink. It's not presenting it like that. It's presenting a fucking faceless mob going after cops and like, oh, look how terrible this whole situation is. And like, I get too that it's like a plot point for Arthur and it's supposed to be like a climax and all this other stuff, but I think that's like a definite case of like where the film is actively trying to frame this like it's a mob mentality instead of like an actual like class antagonism with all these like different elements coming together. And it's the way that the film is like kind of condensing all these like elements into this like just this dumb pessimism. And that's one of the things that really like kind of clued me in, is like, this is fucking dumb too, because it's dehumanizing the mob, and it's like, you know what I mean?
I don't know if I'd agree with that, because the way they shot it, you see the face of the person they kill.
Yeah.
So I think that humanizes the person that eventually gets kind of shoved into Shea Wiggum's face, and then that's when you hear the shot. And you see the bald guy like go down. That's when the mob attacks. Oh, okay. So I feel like that shows a kind of consciousness, at least among the clowns.
Yeah.
They know that they're against certain other people.
Yeah.
I think the blind mob violence thing comes in after the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
In the last, which arguably is maybe the most fake part of the movie.
Yeah.
Or the most invented part of the movie.
Oh, that's true too, yeah.
Because I will push back on that, because I remember I believe you do see the face of the person that they shoot. And you see that person die, and that's what starts the violence.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the Joker starts laughing at it, because it's like to jump ahead, you get what you fucking deserve.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember seeing the guy. I mean, you're probably right. I just don't remember the
it's
guy's
fast.
face being.
It's an action scene, but I remember clearly
it's an action. It's not. It's not putting like an empathetic spin on like the crowd that's been like, you know what I mean? Because I didn't see it as like an empathetic moment with I see it as more like it's an action. It's a plot thing. It's not like trying to instill any sort of empathy and like trying to make you like kind of like get a little bit more like no, man, no, fuck these cops. Like it's not trying to put you. It's trying to like both sides this thing when it's clearly like, no, it's not both fucking sides. Like these cops just fucking murdered somebody because they're going in there acting like goddamn animals in the goddamn train.
Yeah, but I feel like the cops also are kind of portrayed as as at most neutral, or at least neutral, at most bad.
Yeah.
From throughout the whole thing. I don't think they're ever shown as, because they cause his mother to have a stroke.
Yeah.
And they're causing him to have to be at the hospital, and they're fucking with him, even though he is the one that they want. and you know what I mean?
They didn't show. That's the thing, though. Is like they didn't show them antagonizing his mom. It's like after the fact. Like you learn that afterwards. Like he goes to the hot. They're not showing them like going after her. Like in the. You know what I mean? Like they don't actively show. You kind of infer some of this stuff. That's why I was like, kind of had some problems with it, because it is asking you to kind of put, you know, like
I think any piece of media is going to be ripe for anybody to miss some details and completely misinterpret the entire message.
Yeah.
Which I think is just the risk you run from just making a creative product that's going to tell a story like this. I would push back and say that the cops were acting like jerks the whole time. Especially in that scene, because they're waving guns in people's faces. Everyone's like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Yeah,
and they really and specifically humanizing the person that they actually kill.
Yeah,
I remember the person's face. They were wearing a black shirt. They were wearing a black shirt, and they were bald. See, I remember that, and I remember that person falling to the ground. I was like, "Oh my god, they killed him." It's gonna happen now, and then it happened. And then I saw it's just him laughing at them, and then he gets to walk out. He walks past the cops because he's like a
they're running
clown.
towards
And so now he's really into it. He's going to the show.
Yeah.
He's going to the fucking show, and he's gonna do it. And now he wants to be introduced as Joker. And I didn't recognize him. That guy who tells him like, "No man, see, did you see what he's fucking wearing? You see, we can't have this guy
Mark
out there."
Maron.
That's fucking Mark Maron.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was him.
Oh yeah,
I didn't recognize him because he looked very 70s holdover in the 80s.
Yeah, they did his. I didn't
They
recognize.
did his
him
facial hair right.
Yeah, they like really they rounded out his beard.
They trimmed it.
Yeah, because it's usually like a bigger kind of. Oh, you know what? No, I'm remembering him from the Maron show where he usually just has like a mustache and like a goatee. I think. Yeah, that's why. I think he doesn't. Does he caution Mary like early in the movie? Like, oh, don't pick him. No. I'm thinking of something. Never mind.
Okay, no, but yeah, he says you can't put him on because he's dressed as a clown.
Yeah.
They're like, what's with this? Is it a political statement? It's like, no, I don't believe in anything.
Yeah. Time is a flat circle, Mr. Murray. Okay.
Oh yeah, that is him. Yeah. I just didn't recognize. He just looked like 70s white guy in a suit.
Oh yeah, Mark Maron. Yeah.
So
that was good casting.
Who does he have on the show? Who's the famous doctor?
Is that what she? I'm like, no, is some random old white lady? I don't know what she is.
I have
is
a
she
feeling.
like Dr. Ruth or something?
I think it was Dr. Ruth.
Okay, like what do you call it? Like
Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay,
that's who she's supposed to be. Yeah, that's who she's supposed to be. Or that's who she is, I believe.
Yeah.
Or they call her Dr. Ruth.
Oh, okay.
So he gets on and there's this really cool moment before he gets on the show when he's getting introduced as Joker, and he once again he's feeling himself. He starts doing the twisty dance, and he's doing it, and he does it right before he goes on stage, and bam, there was this scene before where, like we said before, like where he was rehearsing, sitting at and being interviewed, and doing the thing where he's going to shoot himself, and he rehearsed how he was going to come in. He was watching, I forgot somebody. He was watching somebody come in and do the thing, and he completely copied that during his rehearsal. But then when he came out, he just completely threw it out the window.
Yeah.
He improv'd it completely and lays a big old smooch on Dr. Ruth.
That's right. Yeah.
Doing some period friendly man-women interaction.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Period friendly. Yeah.
So
they would do that.
He comes. So they ask him about the politics. He doesn't believe in anything, and then he ends up telling a joke. You remember his funny joke? The good joke about not then they and they
Is that
and
the
they
car accident one, or is that
and they
before
yeah
that?
and they misdirect you, but because he opens with knock knock.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he'd been doing the knock knock thing and then pantomiming killing himself. And then he does
Knock
that. It's like,
knock knock.
oh,
Who's there? The police, ma'am, and your son's died in a drunk driving accident. And Dr. Ruth's like, no, you can't joke about that. That's true. That's true. There's some things you can't. There's a little bit of things you can't joke about. Little bit.
little bit. This joke. Trying to say this joke.
And
Can't say this
eventually,
joke.
Joker comes up with class consciousness by basically being like, how do you get to decide what's funny and what's not? Who decided what is politically correct? It's almost like you can't do comedy anymore. Directed by Todd Phillips.
Can't tell a joke anymore.
This is where the rage comes to a complete head. And Murray starts to embody kind of Reagan era personal responsibility, completely cut off elite mindset. He's like, you don't know the first thing about me, pal. I'm not awful. You're awful. You know what you did? You got some officers in critical. See, they don't even die. The officers don't even die. So that's another thing. They don't even kill the. That's another thing that the mob does. They don't even kill the cops.
Yeah.
So another thing. It's not. Anyways, then he tells his best joke of the whole night, which is the probably the quote that freaks everybody out, because that is probably the scariest part or the most terrifying part of the movie. It gets a little too real.
When Joaquin Phoenix is going off on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he makes his last little point, and then he ends up shooting Murray.
Yeah.
On live TV, because we've had mass shootings get streamed. We just had one recently that just happened in Germany, where the guy was ranting about the Holocaust.
Was he streaming it?
Mm-hmm. He streamed it on Twitch.
All I heard was he shot it. Did he kill somebody? Or did he just shoot it?
I don't think he.
Not that
I don't
it's
think
even
anybody
better, but I mean-
died, but he shot. He couldn't get in because they locked the doors.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
So, but he shot at other random people.
So weird. That's always a mosque or a synagogue.
Well, this time it was a synagogue in Germany. That's not weird.
Right. Not weird at all. Totally normal.
So
No historical echoes.
yeah, history.
God
It doesn't
damn.
repeat itself.
I'm sorry, just real quick. I didn't know he was he was Twitch streaming.
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. And he ranted about feminism and Jews and the Holocaust being a hoax, and yeah.
So weird how they all have the same talking points now. So fucking weird.
Yeah. So he kills the guy. He gets his 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
And then
Arthur Fleck does. in
Arthur,
Joker.
sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Back to talking about the media movie fiction that is totally not real, but that scene was a little too real for me.
Yeah.
It was a little too.
That's getting pretty
not too real, but it got there because it's like
He's saying a lot of stuff that's like
But-
yeah, we all agree with.
and that joke is also like, I think I'm getting more convinced that I want it to be a socialism versus barbarism thing, but
Yeah.
either way, I believe the film is like a warning,
Yeah.
and especially in that joke, because that joke is just a warning.
Wait a minute, which joke?
The little point that he
Car
makes,
crash
that
one?
you get what you deserve.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, it's a warning. Like
yeah.
like the whole movie is a damn warning. It's like, if you don't take care of your business, some lone crazy person is going to start riots and kill you.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like the whole movie really is. But I really wanted it to be about, which is why we should just make a movie. Socialism versus barbarism.
Yeah.
Which is what the movie kind of leans towards, but it doesn't outwardly define. It doesn't outwardly define an alternative.
I think that's why I'll get to that point after we finish it. Excuse me. Because what happens after that? He shoots
him, and that's when we get the TV montage where the news spreads. He's arrested, and then he's riding through the city in the back of a cop car looking at his riots, his thing.
That's right. Yeah.
And in the middle of that, the cop car gets hit by an ambulance and he gets saved by clown people.
Yeah.
And while he's passed out, this clown figure, I think it's the same one that we've been seeing throughout the movie.
Yeah.
It's a lot of them are wearing the same mask, but I
Yeah,
think this
yeah.
mask is specifically supposed to be the exact same person he sees like 3 times.
Yeah.
That he makes eye contact with.
That's right.
That person eventually goes and what are they watching? They're watching The Mask of Zorro, I think. Or no. That's what they're originally watching. What are they watching here? They're watching some movie. I forget what the movie is. They may as well be watching like They Live or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're coming out of the movie theater and they go into the alleyway, and that's the the thing that we all know, the canon beginning of Batman. Batman. A cloud. Cloud killed my parents, and now I have to kill the cloud. So Batman is formed out of class unconscious rage against the rich.
Yeah.
Which fucking good. Thomas Wayne was that one thing that the movie does do. Thomas Wayne is pretty much a jerk the entire time.
Yeah.
Except for that one tiny little moment, which I don't know if that rings with anybody else. It's just me being nitpicky.
Which in the bathroom when he's
in the bathroom when he has the last when he has the last word, and it's about him protecting his kid.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I didn't. I
you
just
don't
read
need
that
it.
as like it's a dad protecting his son. Like it's a standard that doesn't like build character. I think it'd have been a weird little plot point if he hadn't done it.
If he did it earlier and then ended on something selfish, that would have solidified him being a jerk asshole.
Yeah.
But because he ends up punching him over his kid, I feel like that humanizes him. Just because it's the last thing, it's his last word, it's technically him winning the argument.
Yeah.
And he gets to walk out, still the rich guy.
Yeah.
After bloodying his nose. Once again, nitpicky.
Yeah.
Because it's it's all about the perspective that the film gives us.
Yeah.
That gives us to work with. So after Thomas and Martha Wayne die like little rich bitches, Joker finally is himself. And throughout this whole movie, we've been seeing his makeup change because it was originally his clown makeup with a wig. He dyes his hair. His makeup changes as his tears roll down his eyes. And then at the very end, we get the very last thing, which is the blood that's pooling in his mouth from the wreck that he was in. And he turns it into his bloody smile.
That's right, yeah.
And that's when he's fully the Joker. But then, last scene, he's in Arkham. Now, who knows how this all went down?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of theories, but we end... He says, he starts laughing. His therapist asks him, what's so funny? And he just says, you wouldn't get it.
I have a little... She's like recording him. Mm-hmm. There's a little microphone there or something. She's taking notes or something.
Yeah, it's like an interview session.
Yeah.
And that's... He's just imagining Thomas and Martha Wayne dead with Bruce Wayne standing over them. And he just says, you wouldn't get it. Then... That's life begins to play, and then he has a Benny Hill style escape from the orderlies as he's running from hallway to hallway with bloody footprints.
That's right, yeah. And it's implied they like killed the therapist, right, to get out of there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Which I've told you my thing about the ending, which is that the whole movie is a conglomeration of what really happened and whatever was in his head, especially the ending, and that he's just been in Arkham this whole time because the only crazy thing he did to get locked up was actually just shoot Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like that. Like they're definitely dead. Like those two are definitely dead.
Right, but all it was he met them.
Probably could have killed them.
Was that he met them? He alone met them in an alley with no riots actually happening, and he shot them.
Yeah,
and he's been in Arkham this whole time, basically building up in his head why that is the foundation of who he is.
That's right.
And he concocted this movement that doesn't ultimately make sense, which is why I also think that it's all in his head because it's this individualist style of revenge, kind of revolution rather than any kind of class conscious one.
Yeah. We talked about that because it's very well. We talked about right when we got out of the theater, it was specifically something with Murray Franklin, where it's not. Oh, that's what it was. Arthur says something to the effect of like you're exploiting. That's when he turns really like he has this. It's that moment where the camera's like from. I don't know. It's that angle where like he's looking back at Murray, and you see his face just start shaking with rage. And then he tells him, like, because I think he notices the camera, like, really takes in where he's at and what's happening. And he says something like you like, who are you to be the one to set the rules? Like, and look, like, you're taking advantage of me. Like, you knew that I was, like, mentally ill, like, that I had problems or something. And you said, parade me around in front of the camera. I forget what he says specifically.
Yeah, he just says you're all. He's saying that the whole system is awful and that everyone is awful because of the way everything is structured. And that's when he opens up like, not everyone is awful, and he's like, well, you're awful because you played my video, you invited me here just to make fun of me.
That's right.
Which underlining all of that is like you're exploiting me right now.
Yeah. That's what we were talking
That's
about.
why you're awful.
Yeah, so what we were talking about was like that gets condensed into like an individual choice that like Murray's the one doing this rather than I guess like the film
I wasn't thinking that. There's a line that he says before that in his speech where he talks about like there's a part where he talks about kind of how people need to be nice to each other. That's what's individualizing to me. Not necessarily that he's calling Murray awful.
Oh, okay.
Like, the fact that he's calling Murray awful is like calling the whole thing out because it's like right here in front of you is somebody that's going to deny that what they're doing is completely awful because they've just decided, hey, this is just okay.
Gotcha.
Like getting this guy's footage, making fun of him on TV, and then inviting him here to continue to make fun of him, make him the butt of our jokes. That's completely fine.
Yeah.
And it's defined. It's only fine because it's defined as okay in this society.
Yeah.
And that's what he's saying. Like who gets to decide what's funny? Who gets to decide what's right?
Yeah.
And that's definitely true in the real world. There's a bunch of shit like what we were just talking about with Ellen earlier in the show.
Yeah. Yep.
Bush being a folksy sounding carpetbagger is civil, therefore it's fine. Never mind all the stuff that he so civilly did, like cause millions of people to die in Iraq. And untold damage to the rest of the world because of the destabilizing effects of the actions of his administration and then the groundwork he laid for future administrations.
Yeah.
Who gets to decide what's right? Who gets to decide what's funny?
Yeah.
Although for Todd Phillips, it's probably just like he's mad at blue-haired people he imagines are at college campuses. Or something.
Yeah. That's another one of those dumb fucking things where it can't be funny anymore. Man, name me one comedian who's still not working.
Did Mark Maron say that? I think he called out Todd Phillips.
You're right. You're right.
He did. Mark Maron disagrees with Joker's complaints that woke culture is killing comedy.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people being funny right now. Not only being funny, but really being fucking funny.
Good job, Mark. Also, just
shout out to comedies don't work anymore. All the fucking funny guys are like, fuck this shit because I don't want to offend you. That's Phillips. What did he say? Because he said something there's plenty of people fucking funny. There's still lines. Maron said there are still lines to be crossed and envelopes to be pushed. He continued. But really, the only thing that's off the table culturally at this juncture, and not even entirely, is shamelessly punching down for the sheer joy of hurting people. For the sheer excitement and laughter that some people get from causing people pain, for making people uncomfortable, for making people feel excluded. See, he sounds like the Joker. He was listening to Joaquin, to Arthur Fleck. It's no excuse if you're too intimidated to try and do comedy that is deep or provocative or even a little controversial without hurting people. Then, I mean, you're not good at what you do. Or maybe you're just insensitive. He's calling the director like, maybe you're just not funny.
Hell yeah.
Fuck you. You hired me and I'll talk shit.
This like, that's why I'm still like, I think he summed it up best. So like the worst thing about the Joker is that it's about the Joker. Because at the end of the day, like all the stuff that Joker's saying, like we all agree with and shit. But at the end of the day, these goddamn ruling class pieces of shit can still point to it and be like, look, you're agreeing with the fucking murderer though. He murdered people. You're agreeing with him.
Yeah,
and that's the thing where I'm just like, I could fucking see them saying that, and that's like the cover that they're using to like just kind of just dismiss all the other like points that we may have or something. And I still think that there's enough of that language in the film where it doesn't lean into it and it provides enough cover for them to like call people out for wanting to like identify with it. I'm just like, it's another one of those things like the media is propagating its own the ruling class bourgeois propaganda machine is still just kind of self-perpetuating itself and providing cover for itself. I'm like, a movie like that could not have been made if it was not about the Joker and having like a inherently like antagonistic to normal society character as like the main thing.
It's a deal with the devil. Twisted.
Yeah. God damn it.
Because it is, I don't know who described it. It might have been Matt.
Yeah.
Matt, just it is kind of a deal with the devil because that kind of, you're right, that kind of movie can only be made if it's about some kind of pre-existing IP.
Yeah.
And the Joker, I guess, fits into that. And it's just funny because the Joker movie is actively trying to not be about Joker and not be about being the Batman villain. But it has to be about him because otherwise the studio ain't going to make the movie.
Yeah.
The worst thing about Joker is that it's about Joker.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be. We need more movies. Specifically, the thing that I like is movies with unreliable perspectives. Mm-hmm. Things that ask the audience to decide what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
Which is something that I like that aspect of the movie because we see Arthur doing that.
Yeah.
I see the whole movie as him deciding what's real because of what I feel, just based on what I feel. And what he feels and what he perceives is incredibly flawed.
Yeah. There's a
Joker's on fire.
There's a really good. I don't know if you've seen this term used around. I think I may have told you about this a while ago, like a couple weeks ago. There's a phrase I've just noticed people just every once in a while start using it. What is it called? I have no mouth and I must scream type situation. Like, you ever heard of that short?
I have not.
I forget the name of the author. I feel like he only wrote like a handful of like short stories or something. Anyways, it's the name of a short horror science fiction.
Harlan Ellison.
Harlan Ellison. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. He also wrote A Dog and His Boy or something.
That's right. Yeah. So I have no mouth on my screams. Just there's like an AI that was built by a bunch of different AIs were built by all these different superpowers. They all end up conglomerating together. They get absorbed by the American AI, and it turns into like a supercomputer, and essentially like destroys humanity or something. And it saves like 5 human beings that have nothing to do with anything, just random people. And he keeps like a researcher around, like a doctor around or something. Anyways, the AI, who I think identifies as a guy, maybe. The name of the AI is AM, like AM, you know, like I think
Allied Master Computer.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a whole play on like I think therefore I am or something. Anyways, he basically just sets up these five human beings be tortured for as long as he can like keep them alive. And he's got sophisticated ways of like keeping them alive, and eventually he wants to play a game with them and stops torturing them. And eventually, I think only one of them is left alive, and the other four get killed. And the guy's left alive is eventually transformed into this like kind of fucked up sci-fi version of a Johnny Got Your Gun type thing, where he's transformed into this creature that time completely slows down for them, so like a minute is like an eternity or some shit like that, and they in immense physical pain, and they can't harm themselves. He can't harm himself ever. He can't do anything. He can't move. All he can do is like think and be in his pain for an eternity.
He goes through the jaunt.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I guess that's another way to put it, and just like in a physical form.
Damn.
Like, and the computer does that too. And the cover of the book is like what he's turned into. But
I have seen that.
Yeah,
I looked up the thing. I had seen that before.
Yeah, and the whole point, this is a whole bunch of different themes in it and stuff. But like the whole thing was like this idea that like you have this immense pain like inside of you, but you don't, and you can understand that it's there, but you can't articulate it. You can't get it out. You can't express it. None of that. And it's like you're just in your own little personal hell that can't be articulated, and you can never fix it. And I was just like like those unreliable narrator type things just remind me of that. There's just this like, and I must scream situation. Like Arthur knows there's something wrong, but because he has this like he knows that he's like mentally ill, and he knows he can't he can't will himself out of that. And there's no support structure to help him. And he knows there's all these things wrong, so the only thing he can do is just lash out and stuff. I'm like,
all I have are negative thoughts.
I don't know where I'm at on how the movie was shot. It looked good. The camera moves it feels like it moves unrestricted.
Yeah.
And like you said, it like lingers. That's more of an editing thing, but the camera like lingers on some of his performances. The way it moves with his little dance is, I don't know how much, obviously I don't know, but it seems like it felt very impulsive. Like they just took the best take that they got.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of like fucking around and finding out.
yeah, felt
Like
very-
finding the good moments and then covering it in a bigger shot. And that I like that, despite the music being boring, like I like that part.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the music. I just like the moment where we
Yeah.
after the big thing happens when he does his first murder. He doesn't know who he is, but he sort of feels normal for the first time,
Yeah.
and he expresses that in this little dance.
Yeah.
It's nice, very effective.
Which I guess I can appreciate they left this up to the audience, but like thinking back at it now, it's like it didn't have to be violent, obviously, but the way that he was able to like, I don't know, like take control over his material circumstances in that moment leading up to that, like in the subway, like because you saw how his agency was like stripped from him in all these different ways, and the first time they actually gets to exert his like its existence on others is like in that moment when these people are picking on him. He has the gun, he can like do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I will say like the film does do a good point of like not pointing to like, see, this is why you need a gun. If somebody's messing you in the subway, you don't have a gun, how you gonna shoot him? Huh? Joker.
Let's say the King of England is riding the Gotham subway, and they come in and tell you what to do. How are you gonna shoot him?
Like
Let's say that guy comes in and is like, I am the King of England. You need to call me the King of England.
You don't have a gun.
See? It's just like trans people. They think they're the King of England.
Just come over there and be like, I'm the king now. You must address me as such. Taking your taxes, telling you when you can and can't harvest your grain. tell me what to do now.
I have the divine right. All right.
Yeah.
No post credit sequence, which was welcome.
Yeah, good. There's no like.
The movie ends when it ends.
Yeah. There's
When
no
it- and
Bruce
they're
Wayne
literally-
picking up a mask or something, or seeing a
Being
bat
like-
fly over him. He's like,
Being
yeah.
like, that guy was a real Joker.
Get a load of this, Joker. Yeah, no moment where Arthur's running around and like as he runs past one room, you see, somebody drawing a question mark on the wall in blood or something. He's not running past.
He's the other person that austerity has fucked with.
Yeah, riddle me this.
So Joker, what do you rate it?
I'll give it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
Somewhere between 7 and 8.
I would give it between 7 and 6.
Yeah.
Just because of Joker.
Yeah.
Didn't need to be about that. It could have been like a 7 to 8 like movie if it was just about just crazy person,
Yeah.
like some Travis Bickle-esque thing. I think somebody pointed that out, that a key difference between those kinds of between those movies and what makes them really different is that Arthur Fleck is definitely a not normal person.
Yeah.
And he's not presented as normal, even in his interactions with other people. Whereas Travis literally is a normal person. That's what's probably a little more terrifying about that, because he can woo the girl, he can ask her out on a date, but then when you get down to it, his idea of a date is taking her to a porno theater, which is really fucking fucked up, and she reacts to that.
Yeah.
So that's one of the differences. He's sort of presented as sort of a normal person from the very beginning.
Okay.
The only thing that's different about him is that he can't sleep and that he used to be in Vietnam. That's why he wants to ride in a taxi. That's the first scene you see, and you learn basically everything you know about Travis Bickle in that scene.
His voiceover, I always remember it being like really like erratic and like indicative somebody's not all there. But does that develop throughout because I haven't seen it in a long time.
It develops. The first
Okay.
weird part is
kinda
when he
developed.
sees
Okay.
Sybil Shepherd. The weird thing is when he says like, they cannot touch her. You remember that part?
Yeah. Goo.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like before that, like he's presented sort of as a normal person
I
that's
got you.
that
He
has
has
something
quirks,
kind
but
of
yeah.
bubbling underneath,
Yeah.
and that eventually burns away to his Joker moment, which is having, or I guess Joker has a Travis Bickle moment, where he has his mohawk,
Yeah.
where he
Shuts
feels
up the
himself.
political rally, yeah.
Travis is on fire.
Really feeling myself.
Really feeling myself.
Putting
No
his-
more bad food.
Yeah.
You feeling me? You feeling me right now?
Everything
There's
must
nobody else here.
Every once in a while, I think about that in my head. It's been a while because I hadn't seen it in a long time. I remember the most recent time I saw it.
It's a good movie.
I'd be like working out or something, immediately just hear the Travis Bickle may like everything must be tight. No more bad food. No more.
No more bad food. No more drugs. Dirtying up my system. You're holding like your hand over like a hot cup of coffee or something instead of the stove. See, this is all Joker does. It's gonna make you talk about better movies.
That's true.
It's gonna make you want to watch Taxi Driver. Let's fucking watch Taxi Driver.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get done. Do you have anything else to say about Joker? I've
Man.
said basically everything. Joker's bad because it's Joker.
Yeah.
It's class war, bourgeois alarmism, probably. I wish it was a socialism versus barbarism warning.
Yeah.
But, beggars can't be choosers, and everyone's beggars in a capitalist system.
Damn. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Anything else? No, I didn't have anything else.
Well, too fucking late, because it's over. It's done. Send in the clowns.
Send in The clouds. All I have are negative thoughts. Oh, Morty.
All right.
My dog's trying to tell me to go.
Yeah, I guess we gotta go.
He's
All
looking.
right, folks. Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.